I'm a chartered financial planner and retirement planning specialist, and I work with retirees every single day. And I always ask them one question: if you could do it all over again, what would you change? You'd expect dozens of different answers, but actually, they mostly say sort of the same five things, five critical mistakes that have cost them time, money, and peace of mind. But the good news is you can avoid every single one of them. In this video, I want to give you the playbook built from the real world regrets of people who have already crossed the finish line. Hi, I'm Toby. I'm a chartered financial planner based in the UK. And if it's your first time here, welcome to my channel. For so many people, retirement feels like a distant, abstract concept, a problem for your future self to solve. But time is a magic ingredient in any financial plan. Without a clear destination, you're just flying blind, and I see it all the time. People will hit their late 50s in a bit of a panic, realizing that they have a pile of savings but no actual strategy. They can't answer the big questions, how much actually is enough? When can I finally stop work? The solution is to make it less intimidating. A plan can start on a scrap of paper. Just ask yourself three questions. What do I want my retirement to look like? How much will it cost? And what's the one small thing I can do now to close that gap? The simple act of writing it down makes it real and puts you in control. Starting that process, even with a quick sketch, is one of the most powerful moves you can make. And that brings us to a number one regret: waiting too long to create a retirement plan. I always hear stories about good intentions but scattered action. People would save when they got a bonus or had some money left over at the end of the month, but it wasn't a non negotiable habit. The most painful part is when they finally grasp the power of compounding and then they see how even small, consistent contributions could have snowballed into a significant amount. I had a client once who put it perfectly. I always treated my savings like leftovers. I paid my bills, did my spending, and saved whatever was left. But the problem is, if you have it, you're always going to find ways to spend it. So there's rarely anything left. And this is common, as one 2024 survey I read found that a third of people wish they had started saving for a comfortable retirement earlier in life. The solution is a simple mental shift. Pay yourself first. Automate it. Set up a direct debit to your pension for the day you get paid so you never even see the money. And a pro tip is that every time you get a pay rise, bump up your contributions by at least half of it. That way you still get to enjoy the reward today whilst also adding tens or even hundreds of thousands of pounds to your final pot. And this all comes down to the second biggest regret I hear: wishing they had saved more and more consistently. We're about to get into the final three regrets, which go beyond just saving money. But before we do, I want to remind you to hit the like button, as it helps other people find this video, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. You might think that most regrets are about not having enough, but I actually often see the opposite. People work for years longer than they need to, chained to their desks by the fear of outliving their savings. They get so focused on hitting some mythical, oversized number, but they don't realize that they've already won the game. I've sat with clients who thought that they needed another 5 years of work, only for us to run the numbers and discover that they could have retired comfortably 2-3 years ago. They needlessly sacrificed precious time that could have been the healthiest and most active years of retirement, because they didn't have a plan that could give them the confidence to stop. The solution is to turn that vague fear into a concrete number. A good plan doesn't just tell you how much to save. It tells you when you have enough. It's a living document that you check in with. One that can tell you, congratulations, you're there. And this brings us to a surprisingly common regret: not retiring earlier when they could have. Now for the yin to that yang, because just as some people work too long out of fear, others jump the gun out of frustration. Someone hits their early 60s, they're sick of the grind, and they have what looks like a healthy pension pot, so they just call it a day. But with people living longer than ever, that pot now needs to last maybe 30 years, maybe even more. They suddenly realize that just 1 or 2 more years of work should have dramatically boosted their savings, let their investments grow, and shorten the time they need to draw on the funds, which make them last longer. It's not just financial either. Many people underestimate the psychological jolt of leaving work. A job provided structure, social connection, and a sense of purpose. And when that vanishes, they can end up feeling adrift. The fix is to be intentional with your retirement date. Think of it as a glide path rather than hard stop. Could you switch to part-time work or consulting maybe? This phased approach lets you keep an income stream whilst easing into a new lifestyle. So it's kind of giving you the best of both worlds. It's a surprising discovery for many, and according to a 2024 research from Canada Life, it is a common issue, with 8% of UK retirees wishing they had retired later. And this is the fourth big regret: retiring too early. I hear this one in phrases like, we always planned to take that big trip, but we kept waiting until we were more secure. Retirees tell me they were fantastic savers, but they postponed joy. They arrive at retirement with a healthy bank account, but their health has faded, or the window for their biggest dreams has closed. They save for the go-go years, but they waited so long that they've landed in the slow-go years. The solution is to create a life plan to run alongside your financial plan. Don't just ask, how much do I need to save? Also ask, what experiences make me happy? Build a life you're excited to retire to, not just a job you're desperate to retire from. Yeah, be diligent with saving, but also take the holiday. Make the memories. This is the ultimate retirement tragedy: having the money, but not the time or the health to enjoy it. A successful retirement isn't about dying with the most money. It's about arriving at the finish line with the fewest regrets. And this is the final, most poignant regret: forgetting to live along the way. But hearing these stories isn't about looking back with regret. It's about looking forward with purpose. The very fact that you're watching this video means you're already thinking about your future, and that puts you ahead of the game. You now have the benefit of hindsight from those who have walked the path before you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.